Perfect. Let's make sure I'm all good. Check, check, check. You should be able to hear me. Perfect. How are you doing? Once again, my name is Jonathan Norton, and in this video, I'll be walking you through the complex number class I created for my C++ program assignment. A complex number is in the form of a plus bi, where a is considered the real part and b is considered the imaginary part. The class I wrote supports construction, should also support math operations, and custom output formatting, all written. For part one, which is our file structure, this would be complex. This would be written in three files, which should be complex H, complex.cpp, and main.cpp. Complex H will contain our class definition, which is complex. Complex CPP, as you can see right here, has the function implementations written all throughout here. And then main.cpp is our test driver that's running everything. To start, let's start with complex.h, which is our header file. In complex in complex.h, I define the complex class. It has two private variables with x part and y part, which is the real part and the imaginary part. I've used if not defined complex h and define complex h at the top. These are header guards that prevent the file from being included more than once during compilation. The class has three constructors, a default constructor for 0 plus 0i, a conversion constructor for real numbers like 5.5, and a full constructor for both real and imaginary parts. I also overloaded several operators, plus and minus for adding and subtracting complex numbers, equal to compare to compare two complex numbers, and a custom output overload operator, which prints in a clean format. Like, let's say, for instance, 2 minus 3i. Oops, I'm sorry, and a custom insertion operator. So complex numbers print in a clean format like 2 minus 3i. I have also added a function to get the complex conjugate and a friend function for multiplication and negation, as you can see down here. Next up, let's go on to complex.cpp. In complex.cpp, this is where I implemented all the logic behind the functions. The addition and subtraction operators just combine or subtract the real and imaginary parts separately. The multiplication follows the formula a plus bi times c plus di equals ac minus bd plus ad plus bi, or plus ci, sorry, bc times I. The conjugate simply flips the sign of the imaginary part. And for the insertion output operator, I made it small. I made it smart. If the imaginary part is 0, it just shows the real part. If the real part is 0, it just shows the imaginary part. That way we don't get weird outputs like 0 plus 0i. For our final part, which is main.cpp, I've tested every part of this class, creating complex numbers with different constructors, adding, subtracting, negating, and multiplying them, getting their conjugates, and checking if two complex numbers are equal. I then print the results using the custom insertion operator to show how everything looks when there's output. And then here's a sample output. If I go down here and, oops, you don't want to work for me, that's fine. Let's go with /program. This is a sample output of what is done. Where we have our real numbers, we have our complex numbers, and then we have our sum, our difference, our negation, our product, 3 plus 12i, our conjugate of C, so it should be our conjugate of this, and then we have our equality checks. And with that being done, thank you for watching. This was my complex number class in C++, and thank you for watching. Have a good one.